Okay, so welcome to For Him or For... sorry. Welcome to For You or For Them. Okay, so the next topic about this series that I want to talk about is the HDB extension stay. Okay, so why do we want to talk about the HDB extension stay instead of just talking about extension stay? Because it's different. Okay, why is it different? Because in the HDB extension stay, this is like approved way. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm talking about HDB legal extension. Okay, legal meaning that the government, you have to lodge this to the government. Okay, it's not like you buyer seller agree and then you all just let it go. I know there's a lot of discussion on this, and recently there's some issues reported in some news article and whatsoever. But I just want to explain properly. When we talk about legal HDB extension, means the buyer and seller submitted their application to say that they have agreed on a legal extension. Okay, why do I say this? First of all, the number one category is that to achieve a legal extension, when the seller submit their HDB submission, their OTP to the HDB, they must make sure that they already have a OTP, exercise OTP of their buying. Means in order for to make it in simple terms, in order for a seller to get a legal extension, they must already buy a completed property and already exercise the contract. Why does the government want to do this? Because if you already buy a completed property and exercise a contract, you will definitely move out of your old house, correct? So the government don't want to come up with a problem where, I mean, this is just my thought on why the government came up with this policy. Because if the government says that, oh, anybody can ask for HDB extension, then this person can sell but have not buy his place or did not rush to buy his place. End up, he don't have a place to stay, or the place that he bought is being delayed. Then he don't want to move out. How? What can the buyer do? Nothing. So this is why the HDB legal extension, right, is being designed in this way where the seller, if you want a HDB extension, you need to have a HDB, a completed property exercise OTP. Means you already buy a property that has been completed. Of course, if you go and buy new launch or you go and buy a building under construction, all this is not ready, so the government don't want to take the responsibility. What if after 3 months extension, the new launch still not ready? Then how? Then you don't move out. Then the buyer how cannot take the house from you, eh? Cannot be, right? So the number one biggest problem with HDB legal extension is when you sell your house, you ask for HDB legal extension. You need to delay the HDB submission, okay? I can tell you this topic that I'm talking about is considered very high level topic, because I tell you, a lot of agents also do not understand. A lot of agents still do it wrongly, and a lot of agents also cannot explain it correctly. So in order to get HDB extension, what people do is people sell their place first. Once they sell their place, they will tell the buyer that we are going to ask for a legal extension. Okay, we need extension stay of 3 months. Extension stay of 3 months meaning that on completion, the seller continues to stay there for 3 months. Okay? So in order to do this, the seller will actually ask you for another 60 or 70 or 80 days of submission delay. Instead of submitting the OTP to HDB within 10 days or 15 days, which is the market norm, people will tell you that they need another 60 or 70 or 80, some even worse, 90 days. So as a buyer, you first have to understand, when you give somebody that 80, 90 days of submission delay plus your extension stay, by the time you take your house, it's going to be 8 to 9 months later. Most of the buyer do not want to go into this kind of transactions because it takes too long. Who want to buy a house and only take their house 8 months later, 9 months later? Take already, still need to renovate 2 months. By the time you move in, already close to 1 year. So a lot of people do not want to go into this kind of transaction. Okay, I just want to explain to you all. So, but why? Why do agents want to come up with this suggestion that, hey, why not you do the extension stay? Because I can help you sell and then buy extension stay, then renovate, then you can move in properly. You don't need to rent, no need to find a place to stay. Is this true or not? Okay, I'm going to explain to you one by one. Is this true or not? And how does it benefit you, or how does it benefit the agent? First, you sell, you ask for extension stay. I already told you already, the first clause to ask for extension stay is you need to buy a property and exercise the completed property so that you can submit the documents together with HDB. So it means that you only have about 1 month plus to find a property. Okay, you only have about 1 month plus max to find a property. So a lot of agents, when they suggest that, right, the seller do not understand that by asking for extension stay, I need to rush to buy. And when you rush to buy, you see, when you rush to buy, technically you ask for 3 months extension stay. When you buy, right, you must make sure that the property that you buy cannot ask for 3 months extension stay. Because if you take 3 months extra, the property that you buy also 3 months extra, that means that there's no extra. 3 months minus 3 months equals to 0 month. So you see, the problem here is when you ask for 3 months extension stay, you need to rush to buy. That's number one. You need to rush to buy within a month or so. Number two, the property you buy cannot ask for extension stay. Isn't this you slap your left face and your right face again? Because now in the market, right, the agent is the one that asks you to do extension stay. Yet because you do extension stay, the agent tell you you cannot buy a property that do extension stay. Then it means that the amount of property that you can buy is very little, yet you need to rush to buy within a month. It means that your choice is very little. You have no choice. Bo bian. You need to faster buy. You need to choose anyhow choose because you are rushing for this extension stay process. And when agent do this extension stay rushing process, right, normally the renovation period that they set in is like 1 to 1.5 months. I ask you, have you not heard of any renovation that delay? Renovation is a human factor. It's very hard to find renovations that don't delay, and it's very hard to rush a renovation out in about 1 month, then 1.5 months, then must faster move in. If not, you are going to be chased out of your old house already. So this whole process of extension stay is about rush to buy, rush to reno, and no choice to buy because you cannot buy units with extension stay. So you become very tied up. You don't have like choice. You're not free. If you use the better solution that I always tell the customer, don't look at extension stay. Why? Because first of all, if you want to sell your house with extension stay plus 60 days submission delay, 80 days submission delay, the buyer that become lesser. Number one. Because not every buyer wants to accept this clause. So the buyer that view become lesser. Number two, the buyer will nego for a lower price. Why? Because you want this, want that, one time. You need to buy time. So the buyer, you ask for extension, people will nego for a lower price. Because extension, normally people won't charge for extension. Because technically, if you charge $5,000, then the seller will say, okay, I up the selling price for $5,000. So it doesn't make sense. So normally extension stay is already included in the total property price, the offer that is being offered. So normally, to make it simple, when you do extension stay, you get a lower price, you get less buyers that come to your house to view, you get less buyers that can buy your house. So this is like a bad deal. For me, this is like a bad deal. Why? Because if you have planned properly and you have understand the problem, if you go for plan A, which is find a place to stay, either you rent or either you see whether your parents or friends anywhere that can help you stay over, the fastest to transact and transit is only about 3 weeks. So within 3 weeks, if you know how to do the technicality, within 3 to 4 weeks from you moving out from your old house, you can already move into your new house. So you only to transit for that 3 to 4 weeks, or plus reno maybe another 2 to 3 weeks. And this is you don't need to rush. If you, let's say for example, you see property, then you didn't manage to buy a property, then the most you rent longer or you stay at your parents' house longer lor. I still feel that if you watch my last episode, my concept is very simple. Do not rush. Because when you rush, you get very stressed, you get very emotional, a lot of negativity, family quarrel. And finding a house is not easy. Sometimes the wife like this, but the husband like this. Then how to come to a point where the husband and wife agree? That is very difficult. So do not rush in your purchase process. And of course, in the HDB process, it's a little bit different. If you watch my last episode, right, I told you about buying first. Actually, in the HDB process, right, you cannot do that long option period process. But if you have the money to buy first, you don't need to pay ABSD. So this is the secret for HDB flats. For HDB to HDB, if you have the money to buy first, you don't need to pay ABSD. You can buy first and sell later. So that is the beauty of HDB to HDB. So I again can tell you that if you want to go into a process where you ask for extension stay, you will need to understand there's a lot of problems there. You will lose your money, you have lesser buyers, you need to rush. Whether you really have time or not, I do not know. And you will get very stressful in the whole process. So my recommendation is this is a plan B or plan C. It's definitely not the best way out. Okay, so try your best to avoid extension stay, and especially for buyers, I always tell buyers, if you want to do extension stay, you are taking the risk because nobody is going to govern the extension stay. Okay, I just want to share a little bit is that after the 3 months extension, right, how are y'all going to exchange keys? How are y'all going to transact the exchange of keys? There's nobody is going to help you. You and the seller is going to do it yourself. The lawyers, the HDB officer, all these people are already out of the picture from the day it has been completed. So this extension stay is a risk that the buyer agree to take with the seller. So for me, my suggestion is try to avoid this extension stay if you don't want unnecessary problems, because you don't know what kind of seller, what kind of person is the seller. So you don't want to get into all these legal problems when you buy your house. You want everything to be smooth and happy. Okay, so for him or for you, because if he sell your place, ask for extension stay, you think that wow, very easy wow, the agent tell me can do extension stay, then I no need to rent ma, I no need to find another place, I no need to move 2 times, wow, this is a good method lah. Then you will think like, wow, like that very good, very convenient, then the agent can help me transit properly. Guys, the agent do this is because after he sell your place, you need to faster buy. You faster buy, the agent also faster earn your money. That's number 1. Number 2, you stress is your problem, not the agent's problem. You know how to stay is your problem, not the agent's problem. Okay. Number 3, you agree to this process, you put yourself into this process. You make the choice, the agent suggests to you, you take it. So to the agent, the agent got nothing to lose. Okay, you are the one rushing. For the agent, he's just doing his job. And when you rush, the agent is more happy, because when you rush, you make wrong decision, you faster buy, the agent can settle the deal and close the deal faster. So for me, this is a big no-no lah. For you or for them, you have to think properly. What is the agenda over it? Because to me, I feel that there is no benefit. There's only one benefit for the seller, which is the seller no need to move 2 times. The seller no need to rent. Which this is, to a lot of people, this may be a very big benefit. But the cons to this whole transition plan, right, to me, it's not worth this benefit. Because in the end, right, I thought that this is a good way. I don't need to move 2 times and whatsoever. But end up, when it's really being executed later in reality, there is so many hurdles and so many problems in this whole process. Okay? So I hope this helped you. It takes a lot of effort to explain this. I can tell you that not a lot of people can explain this correctly because this is really, really on a different level. But this is being exercised every day. This is being used every day in many, many transactions around Singapore every day. So I just want to explain this properly so that people make the right decision in their selling and buying, and do not think that this is the only way out. Okay, because I have seen a lot of customers that call me for help when they got themselves into this trouble. And some even worse, they do a extension stay that is not legal, and the agent still dare to tell them that everybody is doing this extension stay, you know, no need to be legal one. Everybody is doing it. This is not correct, okay? It's like telling somebody that you can take drugs. It's not legal, but everybody is doing it. Is this correct or not? You know? So please, do the thing correctly. Do it legally binding. Make sure that you protect yourself. Make sure everybody in the whole transaction is being protected and everything is done the right way. Okay, so please, it takes nothing for you to hit the like button. It's free. It takes a lot of effort for me to make a video. I see you in the next episode. Like and subscribe, and bye bye. Top producers, moving on.